Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 13th January 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. The cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars and it is a complete free training. All the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community. Click on the tab. You get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course playlist. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. It will be helpful to you. Now let's get into the report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. First, I am going to generate different stocks near demand and supply zones to different time frames. Starting with the yearly time frame, I will also identify price closed inside the demand zones also. I am selecting yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. 3 stocks are filtered. I am giving you only few seconds time. So I request you pause the video, study the report, and after that you can proceed further. In case if you does not know or if you does not understand the structure of this report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, now for yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly supply zone, we don't have any stocks. Next time frame is a half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered for 6 months time frame. Next, half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly supply zone. No stocks are available. Next, half yearly time frame. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. 8 stocks are filtered. All are all-time high half yearly demand zones. That's why they don't have supply zones. Okay, next, half yearly time frame. Price closed inside half yearly supply zone. 1 stock is filtered. And that too it is a pierced supply zone, half yearly supply zone. Next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We have big list. First 24 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 40 stocks are filtered. Because the list is very big, you can further filter this list based on quarterly EMA Confluence. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at quarterly time frame, quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. And the trend in quarterly time frame should not be sideways because EMA Confluence does not add any extra advantage. if the trend is sideways. So that's why I'm selecting up or down, not sideways. Let's filter. We got 23 stocks. All these 23 stocks are having quarterly demand zones with the quarterly EMA confluence. Okay, next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 2 stocks. Okay, next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. 13 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got a big list. First 20 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 56 stocks. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We can further filter this list based on adding high probability parameter EMA confluence. Monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. And trend on the monthly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. The trend. Let's filter. Now the list is reduced, but still there are good number of stocks. First 20 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 29 stocks are filtered. Did you notice? Nifty and BANKNIFTY both are inside the monthly demand zone, and these monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA confluence. Mostly monthly overextension is getting completed. Just analyze the stocks with the EMA confluence. See the overextension is completed or not. Any of these zones are pierced? No. Good. And moreover, monthly demand zone is all-time high demand zone. Nifty at present doesn't have any monthly supply zones. Okay, this is about price closed inside the zones and having demand zones having also EMA confluence. Monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Let's verify any of these monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence. In the EMA confluence, monthly time frame, monthly supply zone having monthly EMA confluence filter is enabled, and trend at monthly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Let's filter. So these 2 stocks are having monthly supply zones with monthly EMA confluence, and first one is pierced monthly supply zone. Okay, this is about monthly time frame. Next time frame is weekly. And weekly stocks near weekly demand zone. First 16 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are filtered. Nifty Bank on weekly time frame is near the high liquidity zone. Weekly high liquidity zone. Okay, total 23 stocks. Next, weekly time frame. Stocks near weekly supply zone. 3 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got a very big list. So total how many? 96 stocks are closed inside the weekly demand zone. Can you imagine if all these weekly demand zones are violated, what will happen? But we don't know. These zones also might push the market up. That possibility is also there. Anyway, I am scrolling the list down. Next, we will filter high probability weekly demand zones. First, I am giving you the reference of all these stocks. Scrolling the list down. Total 96 weekly supply zones, weekly demand zones, currently price closed. So we can filter this list based on the EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence at weekly time frame, I am enabling the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence. And trend on weekly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, now list is come down. From 96, the list is come down to 23 stocks. First 19 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are filtered. These 23 stocks are having weekly demand zones, are having weekly EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside these weekly demand zones. Okay, next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Currently price closed in these 6 weekly supply zones. And let us further filter to check the high probability weekly supply zones based on weekly EMA Confluence. So I am adding the filter EMA Confluence on weekly time frame. Weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence filter is enabled, and the trend on weekly time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Let's filter. Out of 6 we got 5 stocks. And these 5 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA Confluence. Some of these weekly supply zones are pierced zones. 3 stocks out of 5. Okay, this is about a weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. Oh my God, we got a big list. 28 stocks are filtered. Daily demand zones. Let us verify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Nifty next 50 is having a high liquidity zone, and also remember Nifty next 50 is listed in F&O. Next, Bank of India. Next, Canara Bank Financial Home Loans. Next, HDFC Bank. Next, India Mart. I am scrolling the list down. Next, L&T. Next, OIL. Next, TI India. So we have identified 8 high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. 8 zones. Okay. Next, daily time frame. Stocks near daily supply zone. We got one stock and it is not having any high liquidity supply zone. Next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got a very big list, total 91 stocks. Anyway, for the reference, quickly let me scroll the list down and show you the stocks. So total 91 stocks are filtered. From these 91, we can further filter based on the daily demand zones having daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence parameter at daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. And the trend on daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now let's filter out of 91, how many we will get? We will verify. Out of 91, we got only 9 stocks. These 9 daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. And a couple of these demand zones are already Pierce demand zones. The last 2. Okay, this is about daily demand zones having daily EMA confluence and price closed inside the daily demand zone. Next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. Let's filter. We got only 5 stocks. Currently price closed in these 5 supply zones. Out of these 5 supply zones, how many are having EMA confluence? Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, and the trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. These 2 daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. Unfortunately, both these daily supply zones are pierced supply zones. Maybe you can apply pierced zone strategies on these 2 stocks. I mean daily supply zones. Okay, this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 14 stocks. Next, 125 minutes time frame, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 12 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. This is not valid because it is a pierced zone. And Cummins is having a high liquidity zone. Muthoot Finance is having, Tata Steel is having, TI India is having, and VEDL is having. We identified 5 high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones. Okay, next 75 minutes time frame. Stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Let us find the high liquidity zones from this list. We have Angel 1 is having a high liquidity zone and also having high liquidity demand zone. It is moving between these two zones. Sometimes we may get opportunities on either side, because at present it is moving in between these two zones. So that's it. We have only one high liquidity 75 minute supply zone from this list. I think total 14 stocks we might have identified from daily and 75 minutes time frame. Okay, next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 13 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 8 stocks. Let's verify out of these 8 how many are having ITF demand zone Confluence. So in the demand zone Confluence, let us set the filter 15 minutes demand zone having Confluence with 75 minutes demand zone. With this filter, we got 5 stocks. Out of these 5, I think except the first one, remaining all are pierced zones. They are not useful. Only first one is not pierced. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Out of these 4, how many supply zones are having ITF supply zone Confluence? Let's verify. That is 15 minutes supply zone with 75 minutes supply zone Confluence. I am enabling this filter. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. That is what? Zone Confluence. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks we are seeing in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks are filtered. Out of these 16, how many of these 5 minutes demand zones are having ITF demand zone Confluence? Let's verify. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone Confluence. I am enabling the filter. From 16, the list is come down to 5 stocks. Out of these 5, first 2 5 minutes demand zones are pierced. You can't use. Remaining 3 stocks. These 5 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Next, 5 minutes time frame. Stocks near 5 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8 supply zones, how many supply zones are having ITF supply zone Confluence? Let's verify. So 5 minute supply zone having 15 minute supply zone Confluence. Filter is enabled. Now we got 3 stocks. In all the 3 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are part of the 15 minutes supply zone. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones and price closed inside demand and supply zones, and also identified daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. Next, we will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let's start with NIFTY 50. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So this is a Nifty monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find the high liquidity zones. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. And always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame we have selected. Apply the same rules for the remaining reports. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. And all these zones are supply zones except the last one. So I am scrolling the list down so that you can view more demand zones, 15 minutes demand zones. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. And all these zones are supply zones. So I am scrolling the list down to find the demand zones also. So from here you can see demand zones. Let me scroll the list down further to find more demand zones. Or I do one thing. Let me make it in the center, so that you can reference. Above are supply zones and below are demand zones. And the nearest to the current price is this demand zone and the above supply zone. Okay, this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain I will generate. That is nothing but Nifty Bank. So monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125 minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So until 24 you have demand zones. 24 onwards we have demand zones. Let me scroll the list further down. So this is the nearest to the current price, this demand zone and this supply zone. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. All are supply zones. I'm scrolling the list down to find the demand zones. So from here you have the demand zones. Okay, this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next I will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly and daily income trades. Just a minute please. Okay, I am going to generate monthly bullish trade setup. Monthly income trade, bullish trade setup. For monthly income trade, entry time frame is daily, entry zone is demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bullish. And these daily demand zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to daily demand zone. Let me filter. We got 8 stocks. Currently these 8 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry zones are daily demand zones. Out of these 8, a few demand zones are already high probability based on high liquidity zones. We can further filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is nothing but daily and weekly demand zone confluence. I enable the filter. With this filter, now the list is come down to 7. In these 7 stocks, all these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in all these stocks. So if those weekly zones are having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. So in the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, because the daily zone is part of the weekly zone. That's why we are looking for weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 4 stocks. These 4 are even more high probability trade setup daily demand zones. Okay, next filter is LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, latter HTF EMA confluence. So I am removing this ITF EMA confluence. And in the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is daily with weekly. Second filter is daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone, both together again part of the monthly demand zone. And monthly trend is up, if EMA confluence is there, that is even more high probability. But this is anyway Indices NIFTY Pharma, no need to look for EMA confluence. Still, if you want to know, let us check whether this is having EMA confluence at monthly time frame or not. Monthly demand zone with monthly EMA confluence. So none of the stocks are having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bearish. These daily supply zones should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count parameter at the daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score is 12. All 3 filters are applied to daily supply zone. Actually, pierced zones need not filter in the daily time frame, but anyway, already set the values. We got 2 stocks. Currently, these 2 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, monthly income trade. And these entry zones are daily supply zones. Let us check any of these two stocks are having ITF supply zone confluence. So that is a daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of two stocks, both the stocks are filtered. That means in both these stocks, these daily supply zones are part of the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down in all the two stocks. If any of these two stocks are having weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. The EMA confluence, weekly time frame having weekly demand, supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we got one stock. This is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. Without EMA filter, we got two stocks earlier. In those two stocks, let us add LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Next, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the three filters, we did not have any stocks. So there is no LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. So this is the bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next one is a bullish trade setup weekly income trade. Entry time frame is 75 minutes. Entry zone is a demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. These 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 7 75 minutes demand zones, few are high liquidity zones based on, few are high probability based on these high liquidity zones. But we can also further filter for high probability setup based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. Let's verify. That is 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Filter is enabled. With this filter, now all 7 stocks are filtered. That means in all these 7 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all these stocks. That is ITF trend. So let us verify daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, daily time frame, why daily? Because 75 minutes demand zone is part of the daily zone. That's why we are looking for daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. And the trend on daily time frame should not be sideways. It should be uptrend only. But anyway, by default, the trend is daily only. Because ITF trend is anyway daily. So 4 stocks are filtered. These 4 are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Apart from out of these 4, 3 are high liquidity zones, 75 minute zones. Okay, this is LTF, ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence and later HTF EMA confluence. So removing this EMA filter, ITF EMA filter. Now in the demand zone confluence, I am going to add 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. 75 with daily zone confluence. Next 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, first one is trend is sideways, but remaining first and fourth are sideways, HTF trend. Remaining 2 are uptrend. If any of these 2 stocks are having EMA confluence, that is weekly EMA, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. EMA Confluence at weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trends should not be sideways on weekly, so we have to set uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So we got both these stocks having uptrend. So these are the high probability trade setup supported stocks. And the next one is a bearish trade setup, weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes entry time frame, I am selecting bearish. This 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced, so the pierced count on 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone minimum order enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got a big list. So total 26 stocks are filtered. Out of these 26, you are seeing first 15 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. All these entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. First 15 stocks. I am scrolling the list down. So total 26 stocks are filtered. Out of these 26, there could be some high probability parameter supported stocks based on high liquidity supply zones, the 75 minute supply zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. So in the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. That means 75 minute supply zone should be part of the daily supply zone. Let's filter. Now the list is come down to 13 stocks. Out of these 13, further we can filter based on the EMA confluence. Because 75 minute zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why if daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence, then these stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame. Why daily? Because the 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are setting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Let's filter. Now the list is come down to 7 stocks. So these 7 are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks based on LTF, ITF, supply zone confluence and ITF, EMA confluence. Okay, next filter is LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing this ITF, EMA filter. Now let's focus HTF filters. In the supply zone confluence, already LTF, ITF supply zone confluence filter is enabled. That is 75 with daily zone confluence. Next, 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, we got only one stock. So in this stock, this 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. Both together again part of the weekly supply zone. Anyway, weekly trend is sideways. No need to check for EMA confluence. Because sideways trend, EMA confluence does not add any extra advantage. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup, weekly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup, daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhanced score 12. All three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 5 stocks. Currently these 5 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frames or zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 5 15 minutes demand zones, few are high liquidity 15 minute zones. So that way we get somewhat better probability for those zones. But still we can further add more probability based on zone confluence. So first one is the LTF and ITF demand zone confluence stocks. Let's filter. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, now the list is still 5 stocks it is showing. That means in all these 5 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. ITF trend. So that's why let's verify. Any of these 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, because 15 minute zones are part of the 75 minute zone. So in the EMA confluence, at 75 minutes time frame, because 15 minutes demand zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone, I am setting the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, now the list is come down to 3. These 3 are even more high probability trade setup demand zones. This is about LTF and ITF demand zone confluence based report. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, all the 3. So I have to remove EMA filter, removed it. Next, in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 15 minute zone with 75 minute zone confluence. Next, 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF zones, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. These 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Both together part of the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in both the stocks. If any of these 2 stocks are having a daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence filter is enabled. Now one stock is filtered. This is even more high probability trade setup stock. So this is bullish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish, and the 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhanced score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minute supply zone. We got a big list. So total we got 31 stocks. Out of 31, we are seeing first 15 stocks. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. Further scrolling the list down. So total 31 stocks are filtered. These 31 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame is 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 13, let us identify, these are the 15 minute supply zones. Bearish trade setup or daily income trade. So out of these 31 15 minute supply zones, some are high probability zones might be there. So let us filter them based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So with this filter, the list is now come down to 21 stocks. So first 15 stocks. In all these stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of this 75 minutes demand zone. That is what supply zone Confluence. I am scrolling the list down. So total 21 stocks. Out of these 21 stocks, let us add EMA Confluence for the 75 minute supply zone. Why? Because 15 minute supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend is down, that is ITF trend. If any of these 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA Confluence at 75 minutes time frame, 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. Let's filter. We got only 3 stocks. So these 3 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported supply zones. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone Confluence. I am removing EMA filter. And in the supply zone Confluence, we should set 75 minutes daily and 15 minutes, 75 and daily supply zone Confluence. First one is already enabled, 15 minutes with 75 minutes Confluence. Next 15 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone Confluence. 75 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 8 stocks. In these 8 stocks, these 15 minutes supply zones are part of the 75 minutes supply zone. Again, both together part of the daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in majority of these stocks. If in the downtrend stocks, the HTF trend should be down. In the downtrend stock, if any of the zones are having daily zones are having daily EMA Confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence daily time frame. Why daily? Because 15 minute supply zone together with 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are setting daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 are even more high probability trade setup supported supply zones, 15 minute supply zones. So this is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. So first 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.